GameRanks presents another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some raw, uncut gameplay and some first impressions of the latest games releasing. This time around, we're talking about Unravel, the newest seemingly indie darling. It was made by the small studio Coldwood Interactive and it's published by EA. It's available for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And you're probably looking at this game and you think, holy shit, it's gorgeous, it's incredible looking. And yeah, you're absolutely right. But before we get into that, let's talk about what this game is. It's kind of, the best way I can describe it is almost like a happy Limbo. Did you play Limbo, but you kind of felt a sense of dread and sadness and aloneness? Unravel is basically the complete opposite of that, where it makes you feel happy. The premise here is really simple. You're just a little string dude who sets out on an adventure. And while sometimes it's ultimately just platformer, a lot of the time it ends up being a puzzle platformer, with the main mechanic being the fact that you're made out of yarn, and you use that yarn to swing across ledges, pull things down, climb up things, tie things together, and whatnot. There's not too much to say about that. It's really simple. Personally, I enjoy the platforming bits and the swinging around and using your rope as kind of like a rappel. I like that stuff a bit more than the puzzle stuff, because some of the puzzle stuff just isn't clear. Now, that's not the best way to completely criticize something, because sometimes things don't need to be completely clear. But after a while, sometimes it got a little frustrating when I just wanted to progress and see this cool, awesome, gorgeous world, and I couldn't even figure out where to start. But like I said, the platforming is super fun and awesome, because you have this rope, you're made out of a rope, and you're always leaving this trail of yarn, meaning you could actually, if you fall down something, you can climb back up your yarn. It's kind of like a cool way of backtracking. I really like just rappelling around on this yarn, because it kind of reminds me of being Snake rappelling down the building while the chopper's shooting at him in the original Metal Gear Solid. I know it's completely not that because you're just a cute little yarn boy. But hey, I don't know. Now, the platforming here isn't completely perfect. I'll say it's kind of like Little Big Planet. You know, it's good, it's just not always the most accurate. It doesn't feel completely watertight, and sometimes, you know, it's a little unpredictable. I guess precise is the word I'm looking for. It's not always super precise. But it still is pretty fun and engaging and fulfilling, and it's really cool because there's a lot of different things that can affect you, like water, high tide, trees, little creatures like crabs or birds. They're all terrifying. And there's a decent amount of game here. There's like 7 or maybe even 8-ish hours, especially if you suck at puzzles. And they're broken up in like about, I'd say, 9 area levels. Some are longer than others, but most of them are very long. But I think that's part of the problem here, is that by like the 4th section world, I kind of got a little bored at times. Maybe it's just the pacing, or maybe it just feels a little tedious. But after a while I was like, oh, all right, great. Because sometimes you have to keep backtracking to untie yourself to move forward if you can't find more yarn to refill yourself. And sometimes it just gets to be a bit much. Not to mention the fact that the checkpoints sometimes can be absolutely fucked. Sometimes they're too frequent, and then sometimes they're way too far away. A couple of times to the point where it restarted me after I died, and I said, oh, well, fuck this. I'll come back to this later, because I don't want to deal with that again. And since you're running your rope around everywhere and tying it in certain spots, it's easy to get a mess of things, but if you hold down on the D-pad on a console, it'll actually reset your location and reset you into the checkpoint of that area. But the problem is that it doesn't undo all of your yarn, so it's basically kind of a useless feature, and that kind of sucks. The story here, there isn't really much. I think you should just take it at face value that you're just a cute little yarn guy or girl, whatever it is, going on an adventure across a beautiful, like, Swedish countryside landscape that's absolutely gorgeous to look at. There's this whole theme revolving around family and a grandma's memories, and you have to collect these little things that unlock photographs in a scrapbook, but whatever they were going for just didn't really nail me or affect me in any way. That being said, I am a soulless bastard, but you know, this seems to be like a lot of other independent, smaller games where the concept is cool, maybe the graphics are gorgeous, or it's just quirky, but everything else is really kind of threadbare. This is a very simple game. That being said, I do think the platforming and the puzzling is worth a playthrough, especially with the game being $20. I enjoyed it enough to possibly recommend it if you're a fan of these types of things, if you like playing indie games, or if you really like Limbo. But, you know, it is flawed. It's not perfect, and it's not for everybody. That being said, though, the game looks incredible. It sounds amazing. And I think just cruising around, jumping along, and seeing the sights is a pretty enjoyable feature of the game. That being said, some of the puzzles are a little annoying and dumb, and they might piss you off. But it's a nice little game, and you know what? I'm happy to see a platformer come around every once in a while. It doesn't get a free pass for that, but, you know, I'm just saying. That being said, though, I do want to know what you guys think about this game. If you've just been following along, or if you downloaded it and played it already, what do you think about it? Do you think it's like so 50-50 as I do? You know, I'm okay on it. You know, if I had to give it a score, I don't like scoring games, but maybe I'd give it like a 3 out of 5. So that's not bad, but it's not great. So let me know what you do think of this game in the comments. I do want to talk to you guys. You guys can also talk to me on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. We could talk about this or any of the other games releasing this month because there's a lot. But if you do like these before you buy videos, the best thing you can do is like this video because it helps us out and it lets us do a lot more of these bad boys. And if you are new, subscribing is a good idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.